I think back to when this organization traded you, and it was painful as a Jet fan. And it was painful because I would sit here on sports talk radio arguing with Jet fans who did want to trade you, who didn't want to trade you. And it bothers me because even though you're a Jet, Joe laid it out, you're a Jet.
No doubt.
No doubt
when you
about
go
it.
into Hall of Fame, you're a Jet.
Like, the dream was this guy is going to play for the Jets his entire career. Did you want to get traded during that summer with all those rumors of Revis may go here, Revis may go there? What did you want during that time period?
I mean, as a player's perspective, I think you never want to be traded, especially from a team who drafts, who drafts you. I always wanted to be a Jet. I always wanted to end my career as a Jet, and I think they did understand that. But it's contract negotiations, and sometimes the team goes in a different direction at times, and it could be heartbreaking at times. But at the same time, I think the 8 years I did play for the Jets, I can attest to just saying that I tried to do as much as I could, to actually try to bring, us a second Super Bowl. We played those two FC championship games where we were very close. We had some great teams, during that time, and it's what we play for every year. We play to, prepare for the championship, the Super Bowl.
When you got that phone call, whether it was from Woody or John Idzik, though I hate using his name, whoever gave you that, maybe it was your agent. When you got that phone call, you're going to Tampa, Darrelle, what was the initial reaction you had?
I was devastated, because at the time I wasn't really getting much answers. I was asking questions, but I wasn't getting the answers that I needed, and especially coming off of a ACL, tear. Your emotions are all over the place. So the one sole source that you would want to have your back is your ball club, and at that time I feel like they didn't quite have my back. During the time as being one of the best players on the team, one of the captains, to actually have my back when I was actually trying to recover and rehab to get back to playing elite football.
Talking to the great Darrelle Revis, one of the things as a longtime Jet, we're both Jet fans. I've been a Jet fan since 1965, Darrelle. One of the most painful things that I'd had to see in my Jet lifetime, and there's been a lot of pain, was you playing for the Patriots. Now, I know you won the Super Bowl that year. That was the Malcolm Butler interception year against, Seattle and all that. You had a very good year. You were a big part of that team. But I got to tell you, it was very painful seeing Darrelle Revis win a Super Bowl for New England. How about playing that 1 year for Belichick and the Patriots?
It was painful for me as well, especially actually when you see when you look at the schedule and you see you have to play the team that drafted you twice a year, and you're in the same conference. So those games leading up to those weeks, of game week. And we have to play the Jets. There is a little bit of emotion of, competing and, one ball club maybe giving up on you at one point, and then, your competitive nature comes in where you want to get the win, you want to get the W, and I'm sure, in their end they probably maybe thinking the same thing. That's all competitiveness and mutual respect, I think. But it's football, it's competition. But playing for Bill Belichick was pretty awesome. I think during that time in my career, I learned a lot, even more. You think much, from your success in playing, but to be around a football guru like him definitely helped my game out even much more.
Now, be honest with me about this, and I can handle the answer, all right, even if it may hurt a little bit. Mm-hmm. Would you trade that Super Bowl, that year in New England, for being a Jet your entire career but not winning a Super Bowl?
Man. If I was a Jet for most of my career, I would never have the opportunity to maybe. And I believed in everything that we were doing. I believe in the direction that we were going, and I was one of those guys who, when I came in, in 2007, is to try to change, the atmosphere and the way of playing championship football. I won a state championship in high school and come from a prestigious, high school with Mike Ditka, Tony Dorsett, Sean Gilbert, Ty Laws of the world, Jonathan. I mean, there's so many names. So,
right. Aliquippa, is that right?
Yeah, Aliquippa, high school. Yeah. So, I come from a winning background, and I think that has always been a part of me. Especially playing the game of football, of just trying to always be a champion as much as possible. So I just tried to bring that trait to the New York Jets as well. But to answer your question is really hard. If I played my whole career there, then I would try to do the best I can to bring a championship to New York, which we try to did under Rex, and that's the only time we definitely have gotten close, and it was amazing. The journey was amazing. We clicked at the right time as a team later in the season, and once we got in the playoffs, we just gelled more. But I can't really speak much on what the direction sometimes management wants to do.
The truth is, and it's easy to admit as Jet fans, if you would have stayed with the Jets, if they weren't dumb to just trade you away to Tampa, and by the way, they drafted D. Milner at cornerback.
Oh my God!
Not with the exact pick, but they drafted him because they traded you. What a great pick that was.
Painful.
The unfortunate thing is, you wouldn't have won a Super Bowl because we know this as Jet fans. As much as you tried and you did everything you could, they weren't winning the Super Bowl. So unfortunately, you wouldn't have one with the Jets. That's the trade-off.
I got to ask you this, Darrelle, okay? Because and again, we're talking to the great Darrelle Revis. I look back, and one of the biggest mistakes the Jets have made they've made a lot of them over the 54 years I've been watching this team, rooting for this team. But one of the biggest mistakes they made in recent times was getting rid of Mike Tannenbaum and bringing in Idzik. And I continue to think this way. And I think Todd Bowles, by the way, is a horrible head coach, and we can get to that. But that move, if they would have kept Tannenbaum and Rex together, you probably would have still been a Jet. You would have never left. How do you think that would have worked out if they would have kept that combination together?
I think those two work well together, of building, a competitive roster, the 53-man roster to compete and compete at a high level. Those two AFC Championship games, and even that journey to those games.
Right.
I mean, we were in top 3 in all categories in defense. I mean, we were really tough and hard to play against. And then Mark Sanchez caught fire. Both of those playoff runs. So we had some great players. We had a great nucleus with the guys, and I think you have to give credit to Rex Ryan and Mike Tannenbaum. The thing that I did like about Mike Tannenbaum is he was very personal. Like we would have conversations all the time. He was that type of GM where he would engage, with the star players on the team, and me, Nick, Brickashaw, David Harris, Mark Sanchez at the time, Brandon Moore. I mean, we would have numerous conversations just to make sure that we're all on the same page and we're all in the same direction to win it, to win it big.
We're talking to the great Darrelle Revis. Do you think that your departure had more to do with the owner, Woody Johnson, or John Idzik?
I had a meeting with John Idzik. We had the meeting, the start of off-season program, going into the 2013 season, and I'm still rehabbing and trying to get back to 100%. And we had a meeting, and that meeting didn't sit well with me. I feel he asked me a few questions that I felt was kind of an insult in terms of asking me, do I want to be a Jet?
Mm-hmm.
Do I want to be here? And my answer was kind of like, hey, I'm under contract. Like I'm here. I've been here my whole career. Why would I want to leave? I think that shouldn't even be a question that should be asked. Especially when I'm trying to rehab and get healthy to come back and prove everybody that I can still play this game at a high level.
Mm. You came back, obviously, and you were part of that 2015 team that should have made the playoffs and didn't. And that's when I really lost Bowles. I mean, when you guys lost that game to Buffalo, you guys were red hot, 5 straight wins. You just beaten the Patriots. Now you go to Buffalo to go against Rex in a bad Bills team that had nothing to play for, and you guys lost that game in Buffalo. And that's the game where I said, that's it. This coach they're never winning with Todd Bowles. He made no adjustments in that game. How about, were you guys ready to play that game? Did you feel that you guys were ready to play that game against the Bills at the end of 2015?
No, I can attest to that. I can probably say no, of just knowing the pulse of the team, and I feel we came out and we felt that we had the game already won.
Oh my God!
And you're dealing with Rex Ryan on the other end, who I know during that whole week of preparation, I know he got his guys, his players,
right,
revved up to spoil, our playoff run. So I'm sure if we would have won that game, we would have been in the playoffs, and I think we were just trying to hit our peak. But from the 2 past experiences, the AFC Championship games we had, that this playoff run, I think we felt like we had it won already, and as a team that you can't doubt anybody. I mean, the AFC East is very competitive, year in and year out. I mean, you see it all the time. I mean, you can't let it down. And then also you have Rex Ryan as your head coach. So you just fired him, and then he goes he signs a deal with a rival team in the same conference. So he's actually gunning for you as well.
Is there anything, looking back on it, that you could have done where you said to Coach Bo, hey, Coach, listen, I know what's on the other side. I know who's in that room and how he is going to get that team so ready to play, and I'm not seeing it this week. Was there anything you could have done differently to change how unprepared and, I guess, overconfident
obviously
this team was going into that game?
I don't know if we had much of a player-coach type of relationship as I did with Rex Ryan,
right,
and his coaching staff. Rex Ryan and his coaching staff were amazing in terms of, most of the guys played that were on the staff. Most of the guys played professionally or have a ton of coaching experience, and they wanted you to engage with them about how you felt about certain things with the scheme, how's the game plan this week. And they would try to put us in the best position to make plays. And I think that's why we were so successful with Rex, under Rex and playing, in his defensive scheme, because Rex would throw something out. If it doesn't work that week for the team that we're preparing for, he would just throw it out, and he would look at us and just say, look, you guys, you have experience now in this defense. You guys know how to play. Let's just not miss tackles. Let's gang tackle. Let's create turnovers, and let's put the pressure on the offense. And he was that type of general where we can us as soldiers, we can go out there and execute. And Rex would not frown upon a lot of things because he believed in us. He believed in us so much. So,
Darrelle, before I let you go, I got to also just again we're talking to the great Darrelle Revis. The following year, when by all accounts Bowles lost the team, your last year your last year of your career, Bowles loses the team like week 3 in Kansas City because there's a locker room fight with Sheldon Richardson and Brandon Marshall. Did that really happen? And did that just destroy that team for the rest of the year?
Yes, it did. That moment in the season that definitely did, destroy, the camaraderie in the locker room with guys, man. I never been a part of anything like that. As a captain, it was devastating, and I kind of knew in a sense that this is going to be a very long season because there was too many distractions. We're going into our second year with everybody on the team and on the roster, and we didn't make it to the playoffs the year before, but we felt good about it. At the beginning of the first 4 games, you kind of gel, you kind of see where you at, as a team, and then you try to hit your peak, around at least week 8, going into the later part of the season. So that kind of just broke us. That just broke our backbone as a team, and we tried to recover, and it was an ongoing situation throughout the whole year. It just never died down.
Wow.
And, we couldn't bounce back from it.
Wow.
Amazing.
It is painful.
PointsBet is the brand new digital sports book. Darrelle Revis is going to be the face of it. He's going to have the Revis Betting Academy, Darrelle's Corner, so it'll be very cool to check out. It was an honor having you on, and some very interesting stuff, Darrelle.
Darrelle, we got to be there when you go. Us Jet fans got to be there when you go into Canton. You're going to be the next great Jet to go to Canton, so we got to be there for that. And we want to thank you for all the memories, all right, man?
Oh, yes. Come out, please. We're going to have a great time.
Appreciate it, Darrelle.
Appreciate it, Darrelle. Thank you.
Thanks.
The great Darrelle Revis. Though it was sort of depressing at times, hearing how they were unprepared for Week 17 against the Bills.
Hey, he said it. He came out and said it. There you go.
And blame John Idzik, ultimately,
no doubt,
for his departure.